Welcome in. Thanks for stopping by again on, such short notice. We're back for more self-indulgence, as usual. We're going to show some vinyl records, some vinyl LPs that have been, recently sitting and spinning over here. Got some punk from Spain, some quote-unquote dark wave from Seattle, and we've got some indie rock veterans out of Austin, Texas. So I was thinking about showing those and then, possibly saying a couple things about them. But first we have the solo, or I guess however you want to think about it, debut solo LP from founding member of the bands Lush and Sing Sing. This is Emma Anderson's album called Pearlies. It's on what is it, Sonic Cathedral. It just came out maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's got one of these jobs, these sash things. Kind of just leave it on. It's kind of a pain in the ass to put back on when you take it off. Anyway, many of these songs I believe were originally when they were originally starting to be written, they had been written with the intention of becoming Lush songs. I think about a decade ago, around the time that they, had a brief reunion. So this is beautiful, kind of melancholic, dream pop. Show you, this is the inner sleeve. Has some polished psychedelic folk vibes or influences, I think, a bit as well. Then on, some shimmery guitars, electronics. The copy I got, I pre-ordered this and I didn't need to get the rough trade version, but it seemed like it was the one that was going to be most likely to be shipped in a reasonable amount of time to me in the US, so rough trade out of New York. And for that version, it comes with a allegedly signed postcard. I'm not super huge on ordering something that's signed. I mean, anyone, an autograph on something kind of means something if you get the autograph, but just you don't even see it happening. It's kind of a little, what I mean is anyone could have signed this for all I know. I assume it's actually her, but you know what I mean. As the sash says, James Chapman of Maps, recorded this with her, with Emma, and Richard Oakes, who I know best from being the guitarist for Suede, plays guitars, I think, on 4 tracks on here. So this obviously has very similar vibes to Lush, as you would expect, but I think it feels fresh. I will say I'm probably someone who has maybe greater reverence for Lush versus many of her perhaps of their more universally acclaimed contemporaries, perhaps. So I think I might be more predisposed to really like this, and I do. So definitely you're into a lot of different dream pop. This is pretty it's not super upbeat, fairly melancholy as I stated earlier. But definitely if you like Lush, this is a must check out. If you're the bigger fan of Lush you are, the bigger I think you will be of this. But also just in general, if you like dream pop, we're checking out. I don't even remember if I said the name. So the name of the album is called Pearlies by Emma Anderson. Yeah, so I went to the dentist earlier this week on Tuesday, and turns out I need a crown. I couldn't really possibly be much less interested in getting that done, but you know, it does seem like it is something that needs to happen. So, you know, every once in a while you just gotta, you know, pull up your big boy diapers and, you know, get shit taken care of. Next, we have a new album from an old favorite. This is a band out of Austin. This is their 7th LP, their first in 18 years, called The American Analog Set, and the album is called For Forever. This is a double LP in a gatefold. Yeah, they formed back in 1994, and were often described or lumped in with slowcore genre. Anyway, yeah, I believe that MØAA Group is working on I believe it's going to be a vinyl box set featuring their first 3 albums, which were all from the 90s. Those are like classic 90s indie rock albums. This is a dark, slow burning, but edgy, like pretty edgy indie rock album. It is definitely a progression. It's a fairly significant progression in the sound. Has a lot of layers, I think, to peel back. It's like 60 minutes. I think the title track is like 12 or 13 minutes long. It's 60 minutes spread out over, you know, 2 LPs. I think this is very good. I think if you're a fan, or you were a fan of the American Analog Set, I can highly recommend checking this out in that circumstance. I actually think that some folks might prefer this to their earlier albums, because it is, like I say, it's a little bit more of an edge to it, I guess, is the way I would put it. Yeah, and I'd say if you aren't familiar with the band in general, I would probably recommend going back, starting with somewhere in those first 3 LPs before progressing on. Even after having stated that some people might like this versus those albums, I still think that's the way I would go about it. I don't know. What do I know? Anyway, the American Analog Set, For Forever.
Bows in the breeze and the cock and the tease, and the reason we all want more. The reason we all want more. The reason we all want more. Silence is sirens, we're tied to the knots. And anchors to fruit you, don't wanna leave to ride. Aching and patient on a quiet tide. Let loose to screaming in the dark of the night.
I would definitely encourage you to head over to the cupboard, grab yourself a meat stick. You know, if you're in need of a little something to nibble on, and as long as you're over there, you might as well grab yourself a cold beer. You know, you're gonna need something to wash that meat stick down with. Next, we have the 2nd LP for Seattle-based artist. We talked about the debut LP from this artist, I think a couple years ago, called Euphoric Recall. The artist is called MØAA. That's how I'm saying it, MØAA or whatever. I'll put it on the screen. And the album is called Jaywalker on We Were Never Being Boring. It's back. I believe when we talked about this artist a couple years ago, I think that I referred to them as being a duo, when I really think it actually is just the vocalist as a solo project called MØAA. So I think think her name is Jancy Buffington, but I could be wrong about that. I think I've seen it a couple different ways. It may be in yet another alias, but you know, I could always be wrong, obviously. So here's the printed sleeve. So it's kind of icy, gothy, electronic dream pop. Has like gloomy synths, like, you know, effects laden guitars. Pretty melancholy, pretty dark vocals. I think that I've seen people refer to this as dark wave. It's the vinyl. I realized I've been derelict in my duties to show the fancy pants. This one's just a red, but it's, you know, it's moderately fancy pants. Anyway, I'd say pretty enjoyable overall. Perhaps a bit more like of a refined, more like added new wave, like additional new wave synth pop influences on here versus that debut release. Again, fairly dark. I think the vocal style might not work for some people. It's very like monotone almost, or deadpan, like a deadpan delivery style. Anyway, worth checking out if you're into that sort of thing. This is MØAA Jaywalker. I might have said jaywalking before, but I think it's Jaywalker. Next, this is the second LP for this like Spanish. I think they're from Madrid. I know they were, or I'm pretty sure that they were formed in Madrid. I don't know if they were originally from Madrid. I'm gonna call it a pop punk group. Could be punk with the poppy punk. We did talk about this band's debut back in 2021, which was a 10-inch release. I'll link to that. I'll link to that here, but I'm sure you all remember that. Yeah, the name of the band is Aiko El Grupo, and this is gonna be bad. Mi Están Apuntando con un Arma is the name of the album. Second LP. This is like fast, fun, garagey pop punk with a really big sense of humor. Lyrics are 100% in Spanish, so probably a non-starter to those that can only handle, you know, or prefer to have English-only lyrics. It's a printed inner sleeve. And this is on bone. This is bone-colored vinyl. Yeah, I think these guys really quickly, after the release of that first mini LP 10-inch, gained a really significant like cult following in many Spanish-speaking countries. That first 10-inch, the original release of that, is, I think, fairly highly sought after. This comes with a poster. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Anyway, that debut 10-inch was called a mini LP. That came in at 25 minutes. This is a full LP, a 12-inch LP, and it's 27 minutes. So that 2 minutes, I guess, that extra 2 minutes took them over the edge. So I guess we're calling this their second LP. The mini LP counts as an LP, I guess. kind of self-described as being influenced by bands like Comet Gain, Le Tigre, Joanna Gruesome, you know, Veronica Falls. It's very much, and I don't really speak Spanish. I can understand more Spanish than I probably let on, but yeah, it's really like sing-along, anthemic pop punk. It might be better, I think, if you actually were fluent in Spanish, but then I'm thinking about maybe it wouldn't be better. I enjoy it regardless, so yeah. Anyway, I feel like I'm really not saying anything. Really, you can just tell in what you can pick up, it's just really irreverent jokes, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because you're only picking up bits and pieces. The videos and stuff, you can tell they're not taking themselves very seriously at all. I think that maybe that debut release had some more immediate hits for me, but I think this is still a strong overall effort. It's probably better top to bottom than that debut, whereas the debut maybe had a couple more standout kind of tracks. That's my take on it. Aiko El Grupo, I guess it does say that. I haven't really investigated too far into that sleeve and the weirdness there, but Me Están Apuntando con un Arma. I should have looked up what that means. I'm probably saying something silly. Anyway, on Elefant Records out of Madrid.
Siempre nos va a perseguir.